Congrats on the job. How's it
Thanks,
going?
Jay. Yeah, it's going well. How you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Obviously, just trying to learn a little bit about you right now. But what can you tell me about being a finder of joy?
Yeah, that kind of goes back to really the connection of UC Davis and Boise State and kind of the path of how I got here. But Jim Soker is a Hall of Fame football coach, coached at UC Davis for a long time, and became my mentor when I started coaching. But he also was a mentor and a coach of Chris Peterson and Dan Hawkins and some of those great Broncos. So he was the one that taught me when I was a younger guy that, life really is about detaching from the results and focusing on just finding joy every day. And, happiness and sadness are really result-oriented emotions, right? Like if I catch the ball for a touchdown, I'm happy. If I drop that pass, I'm sad. And we try to teach everyone to detach from the results and just focus on the process, which hopefully will lead us to joy. And that helps you lead a real balanced life. And I think even in this day and age, kids got a lot of stuff to go through. We have a lot of stuff going on right now. And if we can focus on that, usually it helps you live a real balanced life. So that's kind of the find joy mentality, but got that from Coach Soker. And that's, again, going back to kind of the whole connection here.
You obviously are connected to some names that mean a lot to Bronco history. Dan Hawkins and Chris Peterson being two of the biggest ones. I saw that you once spent 2 weeks in Seattle studying with Chris Peterson and his offense. What did you take from that? And then how did all those connections also lead you to Andy Avalos and ultimately being his offensive coordinator?
Right. Being a great coach, I think part of that is pushing yourself to extend your network, trying to meet more people. I made a decision 5, 6, 7 years ago, maybe one day that I was going to meet Chris Peterson. Like that was kind of a goal of mine as a young coach. Like there's a connection there somehow, and I'm going to figure out a way to make this happen. And it wasn't that hard. I sent him an email one day, and he got back to me like that, which I think speaks to the man he is. And so we just started a relationship, small friendship that way. And as I continued to grow in the coaching world, he would just send me little letters to get better and what I could do. And had some success, obviously, at Davis. And him and Coach Hawkins were obviously really close. And I think he just wanted to bring his staff out and we could trade ideas and just talk football. And sometimes it's easier for, a Pac-12 program to do that with a Big Sky program because they know we're not going to play each other and there's not going to be anyone stealing anything. And so it really was a give and take there of us learning from them and them learning from us. And I think that our relationship grew from that point, and he wanted to bring me out to Seattle. So I came out there a couple times just to, again, kind of shadow him and watch the program. And I really feel like the values of a coach, from him, I really learned the mastery, how to be a master coach, how to be a master teacher, and what true excellence looks like. To see that on a daily basis from him, I took a huge leap, I think, as a coach. And then having him as a mentor and a friend from that point on, I think has led me to be honest, a lot of the opportunities I've had in coaching the last couple of years have come because he believes in me and wanted to reach out to other people and let them know he thought I was a good coach. And I'm super grateful for that.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Again, congrats.
Thank you.
Next up, Bob Beeler and then Ron Counts. You're muted, Bob.
Tim, welcome to Boise. Glad to have you on staff here as the offensive coordinator. What can we envision to see in an offense for Boise State? What are the things that sort of identify you as an offensive coordinator?
Right. I think, the first one is we want to be explosive, and we want to try to get as many explosive plays as possible. I think the easiest way to win a football game is to get more explosive plays than your opponent and to win the turnover battle. If you do those two things, you're going to win 98% of your games based on those numbers. So we're going to be super aggressive. We're not going to wait for the defense to show us something. We're going to attack the defense and make them react to us. And I hope that breeds confidence in our guys. Hope that's exciting football for everyone to watch. So the first thing I would say is we're going to be aggressive. We're going to be attack-minded and look for explosive plays. but in the world of precision as well. We want to be precise in how we do that. And so again, I think sometimes I get saddled as the passing guy because we have thrown for a lot of yards, which is great. And we're going to do that here. We're going to have great quarterback play, but it's going to be a balanced offense that's going to attack the defense as much as possible and put them in some situations that make them uncomfortable. But it'll be an exciting brand, hopefully, for everyone to watch.
Now, Tim, as you come in taking over, what is your preparation? I mean, you going to watch every game from last season? How are you going to get yourself ready to understand the different pieces you have to work with?
Well, obviously, there's talent here. I mean, there's been talent here for a long time, and there's obviously been success here for a long time. So, what I don't want to do is think I'm going to come in here and mess any of that up or change that. I think the first thing I want to do is just get to know everybody and introduce myself and try to become a part of the community. And I really believe that's what's next, right? It's re-engaging with the community and becoming part of this great town and great city. And so that's probably the first thing for me is just introducing myself and letting everybody know how fortunate I feel to be here and how lucky I feel to be here. But then with the football stuff, I need to get to know the roster. I need to get to know the players, earn their trust, make sure that they believe in me. And I want them to know that I care about them beyond football. And hopefully that will lead us to some success. So I think it's more about that really than any of the scheme stuff. That will take care of itself.
Thank you.
Ron and then BJ.
Tim, congrats on getting the job and welcome to Boise.
Thank you.
You were an OC at 25 years old. What was it like to only be a few years older than some of the guys you were calling plays for? And what did you learn from that experience that you still draw on today?
Yeah, that was pretty crazy. Again, I was super fortunate. Our head coach, Bob Biggs, and our offensive coordinator, Mike Morosky at the time. I know Coach Morosky lives up here now at College of Idaho. They came to me on a Friday. We were playing before a game when I was 25, like you said. I think it was our second game of the year. And they said, hey, why don't you just call the plays tomorrow? You got a bright future, and we're kind of at the end of our road, and we want to do everything we can to help you. So why don't you call the plays? And it's a shocking thing. And obviously a lot of mistakes along the way. But I think they knew the only way that I was going to grow and learn is if I did it. And so I think the biggest thing I learned was just how to call a football game, how to manage the game from an offensive coordinator perspective. There's a lot of power in that role, how to control the game from the offensive side and how to help the entire team that way. So to be able to do that at a young age, it was just a blessing. And I've been super fortunate to have, again, people in my life. We talked about Coach Peterson and Coach Hawkins and Coach Morosky, but all these great guys that saw something in me and they were willing to go out on a limb for me. And so I feel very tied into that. And I feel like, it's my job to prove them right.
I've been told that you've passed on FCS head jobs in the past. You've passed on a couple of opportunities at Power 5 gigs. What was it about this opportunity at Boise State that convinced you this was the right fit for you?
Well, similar to Coach Avalos, right? He's coming home. And it's important to him. UC Davis, that's my home, and that place is very important to me. And my wife went to school there, and it was really my thought that I was just going to stay there forever and be the head coach, and that was really what we had planned. Because in this business, I think a lot of guys can get lost in stuff that doesn't really matter, money, fame, whatever. And I never wanted to get caught up in that stuff. And the way I was brought up by the coaches I was around was it's more about the people, not about the status. And I was around great people. And so it was going to take something fantastic to get me out of that situation. And this is truly an extraordinary opportunity for me to be around someone I really respect. Andy Avalos is a fantastic coach, but an even better person, a great father, a great husband. And for him to reach out to me and have belief in me, that meant a lot. And I just felt like this community is very similar to the one I've been around forever. And so if I am going to make that jump and give it a shot, why not be somewhere where I know my family will be taken care of and I'll get to work for somebody that I really believe in. And so it just seemed like a perfect fit and really good timing. And Coach Hawkins obviously loves Boise State. And so it was just a perfect timing, really, the right time.
Did you know Andy or had you worked with him at all before you got the job?
It's funny. We were laughing about it. Obviously we know each other, but we never really hung out or had a lot of conversations. We have a lot of friends within the business that are mutual, but we've never really crossed paths other than I know he was on the Sac State Hornets when we beat them a long time ago. I like to remind him of that. But other than that, we've just have a lot of mutual friends. And so there was a lot of rumors that, when he got it, that I might be someone he was interested in, but I didn't really know if that would be the case because we hadn't really talked. And again, when he reached out to me, that meant a lot because I've respected him from afar for a long time. And we obviously have a lot of the same mentors. So again, I just think it was a good fit, right time.
Thank you.
Yep.
BJ and then Prater.
Hey, Tim, welcome to town. Look forward to working with you. Just kind of curious, you mentioned kind of the talent and the quarterback position and just the offense in general is obviously a big tradition at Boise State. And with that comes, a little bit of pressure in terms of fans wanting to score 50 points a game and all that kind of stuff. How do you look at what you're stepping into in terms of expectations, pressure, that kind of stuff to be running the Boise State offense?
Yeah, expectations are great, right? I mean, and we do have a lot to live up to, but I really think it's more about us. It's not about anything outside of what we're trying to do. And again, detaching from the results and not putting a number on it and just focusing on playing really well. If we play well, we'll score a lot of points. If we don't, we won't. But I've been a part of teams where we didn't play well and we won the game. I've been a part of teams where we played really well and lost the game. And so I think it's just more about focusing on us and focusing on the details and being precise about what we're doing, but also loving the offense that we're a part of, buying into the whole process of it. That's going to lead to us playing really well and scoring a bunch of points. But you're right, the expectations are high. I've had a saying for a long time, like, hey, we're not even going to look at the scoreboard until we have half 100, right? Like hashtag half 100. And I've had some fans already tell me like hashtag half 100 may not be enough, like they expect more than half 100. So I totally get that. We're going to do our best to put as many points up there as we can, but we shouldn't feel any pressure that way. We should be really fortunate to be here and just enjoy that whole process.
In terms of being the quarterbacks coach too, obviously Boise State has, multiple quarterbacks that have played and done some big things here. What's kind of your philosophy, I guess, with the quarterbacks? I know you're new to the roster, so you probably haven't watched a ton of either Bachmeier or Sears, but what are just your thoughts on the quarterback position here and how you approach that?
Listen, I'm a football fan, football fanatic probably, so a lot of these guys, I may not have been involved in recruiting because, they were going to play at a higher level, but I watched all these guys in high school and I evaluated all these guys in high school. And so I got a chance to talk to all of them on the phone yesterday. Obviously there's a lot of talent in that room. So I feel almost like I know those guys just because I spent so much time evaluating them. But to be able to coach guys like that and be around them, the quarterback is the most important position in all of sports. And, I really feel like it's important to develop a culture in that room. And that culture should really seep out into the rest of the team. That culture in that room needs to be extremely strong. We want to be able to support each other, which is difficult sometimes in the quarterback room because only one guy plays. But my big thing is, we're going to develop a culture where we support each other, but we're going to play really well in that room. And I expect us to be an elite group. There's been elite quarterback play here for a long time, and it's really going to be important that does not change. And they know that, I know that, and we're going to be held to a high standard every day. And I look forward to working with them because they have the talent to be really special, and we'll get that talent pointed in the right direction.
Prater and then Will.
Hey, Tim, welcome to Boise.
Thank you.
You've talked about quarterbacks for a little bit. I wanted to get just a little bit more specific, and I'm not sure how much you can say, but Hank Bachmeier, Jack Sears, there's two good quarterbacks on this roster. Have you had a chance to talk to them? Have you had a chance to sit down? And I guess the big elephant in the room is, do you expect both of these guys to come back?
Well, I have talked to both of them, not in person, obviously, but I think both guys are extremely talented. Both guys obviously have a lot of positives when you're working with guys like that. And they both really want to play. And they both have expressed that to me, how important Boise State is to them and how important this program is to them. So I can't speak on guys staying or leaving. I do know that hopefully they understand that, this is a great place, a wonderful school, wonderful culture, wonderful city. And I hope that they want to be a part of that. And I hope they want to be a part of that, not just for how much they play, but they want to be a part of the entirety of that. And in talking to those guys, I don't see reason to believe that they wouldn't. And so obviously they're both really talented. They're both going to compete really hard and see where that gets them. I'm excited to work with both of them. This is a good problem. This is a good problem to have two really good quarterbacks. And I know that sometimes we want to create more of that than it is, but you've seen multiple teams now over the past, 10, 20 years win national championships with multiple quarterbacks, because nowadays you're going to need more than one. So I just want to make sure we connect on a deeper level than just football. And I'm going to push those guys to be their very best. And I told them yesterday that I really believe whatever their full potential is, I'll get them there. If that's first round draft pick, I'll get them there. If that's the best backup in the Mountain West, I'll get them there. I mean, whatever their full potential is, I'm pretty confident I can do that.
Football coaches are all about growth, and you're going to make the transition from FCS to FBS. Is there any growth in terms of making that transition, or at the end of the day, is football?
I think there's two answers to that question. I mean, obviously football is football. I really believe that if you know the game and you study the game and you work really hard, you can coach football. There's high school coaches out there that are fantastic. And there's coaches at higher levels that probably aren't that great. I mean, if you think about it, if you can coach ball, you can coach ball. But I will say this, having the opportunity to just be here for a day and seeing the amount of support we have, it kind of takes your breath away from a guy that's been at an FCS level for a long time. Like, just my wife was joking the other day, like, hey, you're not going to have to break down your own film, and you're not going to have to make your own play sheet, and you might get to come home on Thursday, Friday night, because you're not doing all that stuff by yourself. And I think having those guys around here and that support around here, that's an advantage that I'm not used to having. So I think that's been really cool for me to see, is how much help we have around here and how great the facilities are. And I think that's going to make hopefully me even better, is being around that and being around this program, being around great coaches. I'm just going to soak all that in and try to become even better and hopefully continue to grow, like you said, and be the best coach I can be.
Thanks, Tim.
Yep.
Will, and then Johnny.
Hey, Tim, congratulations and welcome to Boise. Reached out to Coach Morosky yesterday, and he said you were the best hire that Boise State could make. What's that mean to you, and how would you describe your bond with him?
Coach Morosky is he's like a father to me. He's just a wonderful person for those that don't know him, and he has been as big of a contributor to anything I've done in football as anyone I've been around. And he's always been super supportive of me, and he's been the one guy really pushing me to leave Davis, not for any negative reasons, but I just think he wants me to grow and wants to see me do well. And so I know that he's super excited. I'm excited to be around him, so I'll get to see him, and he'll get to meet my sons when they get up here. And so all that stuff's really cool. What a fantastic coach, what a fantastic person. And obviously they've had success there too, and I'm not surprised by that. So a real bonus of being here is being around him, but very humbled by those comments, and he means a lot to me. I hope I can prove him right.
Obviously, your offenses at UC Davis put up a lot of numbers. One thing that stood out to me is the last 2 years, Ulonzo Gilliam had at least 57 catches each of the last 2 years. How would you describe the role your running backs play in your offense?
Yeah, it's huge. It is a huge role. We were just talking about it a couple minutes ago, how important that position is. Need guys that can catch the football, need guys that can make somebody miss, need somebody that is the most trustworthy guy on the team, right? Someone that when you hand the ball to, you feel like they're going to hand it back to us. And so Lonzo is a fantastic player. We've had some good running backs in the past places I've been, and I know we got some good ones here. But yeah, if you play running back at Boise State for the Broncos, you're going to be a guy that's going to catch a lot of passes. You're going to run for over 1,000 yards. You're going to be a big part of what we do. And we got some talented ones here, and I know we're going to keep getting talented ones in the future. But it's the linchpin of what we do. And if you see our offensive style, you know, that the teams around the country and even the NFL teams, you know, if you have a great running back that can create a matchup like that, it's one that you'll use a lot.
Thanks, Tim. Congrats.
Thank you.
Congrats, Coach. The Davis to Boise pipeline, it's almost like they're sister institutions or something when it comes to football. Are we going to see some similarities in your offense that are, you know, Boise traits, things that you've learned, vice versa? Is your offense going to have some Boise State in it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think there's clearly a connection, a deep connection over over many years, like you said, of the coaching styles, but also the schemes. And a lot of the things I've learned and been taught for a long time have come from guys that coached here. So you will see some similarities. You will see plays probably that you've seen before. And I'm not afraid to say that. I don't think we want to come in here necessarily change a bunch of things, but like I said, you will see, if anything, maybe just a little more tempo, a little more up tempo with how we do things, maybe a little bit more aggressive nature with how we attack the defense. But other than that, there'll be a lot of similarities for sure in how we do things.
Describe your recruiting style and quarterbacks in particular. What's been your pitch, coach, to a quarterback saying, this is how we're going to develop you?
Yeah, I mean, I think the first thing that stands out is I want the player and the family to know that for me, it's about relationships, and it goes far beyond football. I think you want to develop a tight-knit group there, and I want them to know that I care about them, that I love them, and that I'm okay saying that word, that it goes far beyond how many touchdowns they're going to throw, that I'm going to develop them as a man too, and develop them as people. So that's the first thing. The second part of that is, I love the position. I'm well versed in the position. If you look at the amount of years I've been doing it, had a lot of successful guys, and he's even telling those dudes last night, like, hey, if you buy into what we're doing, the proof is in the pudding. You'll be successful. And the system that we teach and the way we teach the quarterback, I would put that up against any teaching in the country. And you're going to see our quarterbacks handle protections. You're going to see them audible at the line of scrimmage. You're going to see them control the game like an NFL quarterback. And so if you want to play in the NFL, this will be a place you're going to want to come, because we're going to train you from day one how to be successful at the highest level.
Corinne, did you have one?
Hey, congrats, Coach.
Thank you.
I know that you've talked about in the past that when you were an athlete, you had dealt with some injuries and dealt with it even a couple of years after being a player. From that perspective, how is that going to help you coaching the offense this year?
Yeah, I think I'm really glad you asked that question. Mental health is something that I feel very strongly about, because I had my own struggles with that when I was a lot younger, and it came from the injuries and not having success. And again, really focusing on the results and how I went from being this great player to all of a sudden I'm this injured guy that can't get on the field, and how that affected my life and my well-being. And so that's something I'm really passionate about. My wife and I are very passionate about that. And I really think that's why I wanted to become a coach at the end of the day, is try to reach those kids that are struggling a little bit. Because I see that. I can see it when they're going through something, and I want to reach those guys and try to help them find joy on a daily basis and teach them what that's all about. Because not everyone's going to be the star football player. Not everyone's going to be the draft pick. And I just want them to know that I'm going to care about them as much as I'm going to care about, the best player on the team. And so I think that has helped me be a better coach, a better mentor, is going through all that. And again, I wouldn't have probably gotten out of that, in the way that I did without Coach Soker, without Coach Biggs and Coach Morosky and Coach Peterson and Coach Hawkins and all these guys that have wrapped their arms around me. They've helped me learn that, but also they've continued to push me to be my best. But yeah, that's a great question, because that is important to me and my family. And I do think it's what's helped me be a better coach.
All right,
Thanks,
guys.
Tim.
Yep. That's all the time we have today. Appreciate you guys.
Recording
Tim,
stopped.
Awesome. Appreciate you. And we'll see you guys in a bit.
Thanks,
Tim,
guys.
thanks.
Thanks, Tim.